Hey guys, so today I'm gonna do a video showing how to set up this Toshiba Flash Air Wi-Fi card um, to be able to utilize it to send print files directly to your 3D printer. And this will apply to any 3D printer that takes an SD card directly or uses a USB thumb drive. It'll do both. So this process and this application works for any 3D printer out there that has the offline printing with an SD card or USB. One thing I'd point out is this will only work this way with the Toshiba Flash Air card. Excuse me. It has to have the wireless LAN. It can be you'll see the W04 model there. This should also work for the W03s and possibly the W02s as well, but it does have to be the Flash Air card. This is really all you'll need when you're doing it just for an SD card type printer. When you get to the printers that require USB, any of these USB to SD card readers will work. I like this one because the card actually pops in from the top, so it doesn't stick out further out the back. But realistically, these are the only two things you'll need. These are both available on Amazon Prime. In the step-by-step instructions that I have for this, there are links to each of these specifically. The seller for this one, ironically, is they were $30 and some change. They went to $38 and some change. The other day they went back down to $30 and some change, and now they're back up again. So got to kind of keep an eye. It looks like they're fluctuating the price a bit, but a card like this on average is between $38 and $40 anyways. So just happened to find that seller by luck, having them at 30 bucks. So again, this is the only two things you need. If you're using it for, like I said, a printer that has or requires a USB, if your printer only uses an SD card, this is all you'll need right here. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, now I'm going to show you the process to configure the card to connect to your existing Wi-Fi network, and then how to map the card as a network drive after it's all been done. It's not a lot, but there's a few steps to get done here, so we're going to kind of follow along just like the step-by-step is. So I'm on my desktop here. This is a Windows 10 machine. I've got my SD card connected to the USB adapter, and I'm simply just going to connect it into the USB port on my laptop here. Connected here, we'll see it'll pop up. We'll come in here to the computer, and we'll see the USB drive right here. This is the card. I've already got the hidden files showing, but here's the card. This is what it comes like, set up for photos. Now what we'll do is once it's put in, we're going to open here. I've already downloaded the Flash Air configuration tool. We're just using this just to get the initial configuration on the card, but we're going to edit it all anyways. So we're going to open our Flash Air tool. Let it run it. It's going to pop open here. Or at least it should. Just taking its jolly old time. Alright, so our Flash Air configuration tool's opened. Right now it's actually checking the version of the firmware on the Flash Air card itself. This takes just a minute to communicate, get the data, and then it'll pop open. What'll happen, this is a brand new card. Because it's a brand new card, it knows it's a brand new card. It opens up the configuration and then a wizard. We're going to use the wizard because whatever we do, we're going to overwrite anyways in the next few steps. So on this wizard, we're going to hit next. I'm not going to change anything here. I'm going to leave it alone because we're going to alter that later. I'm going to hit next. All right, this is preparing it, etc. We're going to hit next on this screen. Now this is telling us to remove the card or the USB it's plugged into, which will unplug it. Hear the beep that it disconnected. Reconnect, right? And I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now what it's doing is it's searching for the flash air. And by searching for flash air, it's actually looking for the connection to the card's own solid state connection. And it opens up here. It's going to try and connect to the flash air card, but really I'm not worried about it. What it's doing now is it automatically created a mapped area to the card, but that's on its own SSID. Do we want to explore this? We're going to click no, and then we're just going to go ahead and click OK. This screen right here, we don't need it. We're just going to go ahead and close it. We'll see right here it's created the flash air shortcut. We're not going to use this because it's not going to work after the next steps. So I'm just going to delete that off there, get rid of it. Now, what we're going to do is we're now going to modify the config file on the SD card. But before you do that, obviously you've downloaded the Wi-Fi SD card setup, unzipped it, and you have a couple files in here. You got your instructions and your config sample. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to go to this PC and go to the drive that this is connected to. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go up here to View. I'm going to tap Hidden Items, and we'll notice the SDWLAN folder appeared. Now is also a good time if you want to. You can go ahead, get back here. We can delete that DCIM folder. We're not going to need it. So now we can go into SDWLAN. There's a config. We're going to open this up. On Windows, we're going to want to go ahead and just choose Notepad. Hit OK. Now here is the configuration file that's on the card. I'm going to close this window here, and you'll see we've got some information. Now what we want to do is go up here to where the cursor is before vendor, put a few line breaks by hitting enter to create the empty space. Now we're going to go over here back to the setup folder where the configuration or config sample file is. And we now have, let me close this window. This is our sample configuration. What's cool about this is you can actually select all of it. We can copy it, go back to our config file over here, and we can paste it. Go back to our config sample. We don't need it anymore. We're going to close it. Now, by doing this, what we're going to do now is go scroll down here. We're going to see two items, which is version right here and the CID line below it. We're going to highlight both of those. We're going to copy them. I'm going to go up here under vendor. We'll see the same thing. We'll see version and we'll see CID. We'll highlight those, and then we can actually just paste the stuff from below into it. It overwrites those two lines. That's good. Now everything below WebDAV2 and below, we're going to delete it. Now we are left with our configuration file. Now I've already done a couple printers, so I'm going to configure this for my third one. So for ID, this is unique. I'm going to name this Mars 3. DHCP enabled. We don't change. IP address. This is the IP address we're going to assign to this specific card to be able to access it. So I've already got one that's a 192.168.0.100. I've already got a 101. So I'm going to do this as a 102 IP address. Subnet mask, we're not going to change. Default gateway, the DNS servers here. All three of these lines, these should be the IP address of your wireless router. Most of them are 192.168.0.1. If yours is different, that's what you'll want to put in here. Down here for app name, again, this is unique, but we're going to name it the same as the top, Mars 3. We're not going to change this. We're not changing this. The only thing we're going to change now is scroll all the way down to app SSID. Note that this card will only connect to 2.4G Wi-Fi. So make sure your SSID or your network name for your 2.4 gig wireless is what you type in here. Mine just happens to be the house. App network key, it's all starred out now, so you'll want to backspace this out, and because we'll backspace it out here, we'll just type in, that's what happens to be the password for my Wi-Fi. No one's around, so I really don't care if you guys know what it is, but there's my Wi-Fi password. And once that's done, all I'm going to do is simply go to File, Save. That's saved to the SD card. We can now close this window. We're going to now remove the USB or SD card adapter, SD card, etc. Remove it, reconnect it. It's now connected. We're going to wait a second because it has to connect. Now it's connecting to the Wi-Fi network. And to test this in Windows, just open up a command prompt here. And I'm going to attempt to ping the card directly. So I'm going to set the IP address, which was with the 192.168.0.102. And right now I am getting some pings directly from the SD card, which tells us now the SD card is connected to the Wi-Fi network. This computer that's on the network, also Wi-Fi, can talk to the card. So now we're good here. So next, what we have to do is we have to map this card as a network drive. You can map it while it's still plugged into the computer, or you can disconnect it, go plug the card or the USB and stuff into your printer, give it about 15-20 seconds to connect, and then we can map the network drive. It doesn't matter. Once it's mapped, it's mapped. But for this case, we're going to open up the computer again. I'm going to go up here to computer, going to map a network drive, map a network drive. We can give it a drive letter. Z is default, but here for folder, the same IP address. We're going to go http:// and the IP address, which was 192.168.0.102 for this card. I'm going to hit finish. It's popped up a new window. We can close that because back in computer, we now see the card networked right here. Now, by default, it names it this DAV www root. We can actually right click on that. We can rename it and we can call it whatever. And that's it. One thing I've noticed is it does for some reason misrepresent the storage space, but the amount of space on the card will correspond to what's really there. But that's it. That's how you simply configure a Toshiba FlashAir card to basically become a station on your network as a storage location, and then how to get it to connect, how to verify it's connected, and then how to map the network drive, and then your print files to put them on here. You can actually, I don't have Chit2Box loaded on here for my resin printers. But you can save the print file directly to this location, or you can actually drag and drop. So you'd open that up, and you can literally just drag and drop files directly to it. And it's as simple as that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and visit the www.elegumars.com forum website. Go to the printers, mods, and add-ons, and there's a section for the Wi-Fi SD card setup, and I'll be happy to answer any questions there. All right, guys. Again, this works for any printers, not just the Mars, but any printer that does Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, but any printer that does offline printing with an SD card or with a USB thumb drive, and that's all that's needed.